Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I finally can do baby step 3, you guys. I am finally in the stage of my debt-free journey, or past that now, because I am completely debt-free. And I get to now fully set up and fully concentrate on my emergency fund. If you guys have not seen my debt payoff video, I'll link it up in the cards above. But I paid off all my debt. Which was the last remaining part of it, which was my car. I actually paid it almost to the year, and that was very exciting. And out of that, I also got a lot of questions about, like, okay, what do you do now that you're, you know, debt free, but you also have your mom's card, and are you still going to be on here, or like, what's your next step? So right now, I just want to clarify those few questions. So the first one is that I actually paid my mom off. So since I was already touching my emergency fund, what was another $2,000 of it, you know, to me? So I actually pulled another $2,000 and I went ahead and passed it along to her. So yeah, I am most definitely 100% debt free. That's it. I have nothing else to pay. I had told you guys that that journey of my mom was hers. I was just, you know, responsible for a tiny portion of it, and I had kind of stated that I wasn't going to show that on here, but I am explaining it to you that it also did come out of my emergency fund. So I took off another $2,000 off of it. Now, as to what I'm doing next, this is where this book comes in. So I went ahead and rebought The Complete Guide to Money. This is actually my preferred book right here. I know there's the Total Money Makeover. Reading that, I didn't really enjoy it. I feel like this one is more practical, more in depth of what you're supposed to do. So I went ahead, picked it up again, because the first time I bought these two, I actually gave them away. And now that I'm like now in a new journey, which is baby step 3, I'm like, okay, how does baby step 3 work? And then what are my steps after that? So I went ahead and just picked it up again. And I also picked up Chris Hogan's Retired Inspired as well, which I'll share when I get to that step, because right now we're focusing on baby step 3, which is building your 3 to 6 months emergency fund of your expenses. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually flip to page 3 so you guys can like see, or I can read to you guys what is it that baby step 3 is. So it says, baby step 3 is when you put 3 to 6 months of expenses into a savings as a full emergency fund. So one of the things that Dave Ramsey explains in his book in page 12 is, he says that your 3 to 6 months emergency fund does not mean 3 to 6 months of your income. It just means of expenses. So to me, I'm not sure what the difference is, because when you zero-base budget, it's basically considering your entire income for that entire month. Usually when you guys see my budgets, you guys see the portions that I pay for. You don't see what my partner pays for, even though he has his own channel and he shows you guys what he contributes. And if you want to check out his channel, I'll link it up in the cards above. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything that I would probably be responsible if I was like a single individual with a single income, living alone in my own apartment, you know, that kind of stuff. So that's how I'm going to base off my emergency fund. So what my emergency fund is going to include is going to be basically everything that you guys always see on my monthly budget, plus all the other stuff that you guys normally won't see. So my rent, my health benefits, my natural gas, my internet, my electricity. You guys will see car insurance, renter's insurance, you know, just all the normal bills that a month will consist of. Even if I was, like, let's say laid off or disabled or anything that I would have to take care of on my own terms, that doesn't go away, you get me? And of course, along with what I need to, you know, put aside for, like, to maintain, you know, for food and, you know, transportation, phone bill, all that good stuff. So everything that you guys see in my budget, you're gonna see it here, just with the other added expenses, because I will do it as like one individual as a whole. So if you guys are excited to see how I build my emergency fund, or how I allocate, or how I think my emergency fund is supposed to be, then go ahead and stay watching. I will flip you around, and then I will also link his book, Getting Complete Guide to Money, because I feel like this is the better book out of his other one, and I feel like this one kind of explains, you know, where his mentality was for the money management one. Okay, so enough about that talking. I'm gonna go ahead and flip you guys over, and let's get started with my emergency. Okay, so here's my budget planner, and here's Dave Ramsey's book. If you guys are wondering, this is an Erin Condren 7x9 monthly planner. It is linked down below in the description box. So if you want to know what budget planner I use, everything's linked down below. So make sure you expand the description box so you can get all the links. They are affiliate links, meaning that if you make a purchase through those links, I get a commission, very tiny, and it doesn't change the price for anything, but you know, it helps support my channel and, you know, me as a person who makes content. But anywho, I'm gonna go ahead, open this up, and I'm gonna put the book aside. And I was supposed to do this, you guys. Literally, this is how much I've been putting off creating an emergency fund kind of like setup. But I was supposed to do this back in January when I was first starting like my entire setup. I had done my 2021 budget. I had done my 2021 sinking funds. So if you guys are interested in any of those, I'll link them up in the cards above or in the description box as well. But I think I'm going to lay mine right here. I don't know if this will be enough to, you know, give me space. But however, as you guys can see, everything else was done. So I'm going to go ahead and put it right underneath my sinking funds. So at least I'll have, you know, a specific area for my emergency fund with all my 2021 stuff. So in case you're interested in any of these 2021 sticker setups, they are available on my shop, erikalifevlogs. And all the stickers that you see on here are from me. So if you're interested in any of that, I have a link down below. So actually, let me pull out the stickers that I have for it. So we have washi, we have the emergency fund or savings, and small washi, because who am I if I don't use any of this, right? I'm literally a sticker shop owner. I love stickers. This is the reason why I usually stay so on top of everything, because who doesn't love to just sticker up their planners, plan, I'm a planner girl, and just have everything on hand. So there we go. Put emergency savings. Now I based these stickers on what Dave Ramsey had said. You know, make sure you write down what a month's worth of expenses is to run your household. So that is exactly what we're going to go ahead and write down. And it's nothing different than all of my budgets. The only thing this won't include is a debt snowball in it, because I no longer have debt and I don't need to worry about it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this first piece of washi, and all it states is like my monthly expenses, the amount it costs, and then I broke it down between 3 months, 6 months, and then I know people were requesting to have a year's worth of expenses as well listed. So that is what I have there. So like I said, the only difference that you're gonna see here is that I'm going to write down what it'll cost me as a single individual on a single income to run my entire household, which is in my apartment. So everything and anything that has to deal with my apartment, my expenses, my, you know, my food, all of that is going to go on here, and then we're going to add them up, multiply them by 3, 6, and a year. I'm pretty sure I won't do a year's worth of it, but it's nice to see the numbers regardless. So the first thing that we are gonna look at, and it's basically what you guys normally see here on just my regular budgets, like all of this is probably just gonna end up there, except for sinking funds. Like that's just the one thing I won't add, because if I lose my income, a job, or fall on hard times, I won't be putting any money to anything else that it's not within like my necessities. So the first thing that we always got to think about is rent, because we need to stay sheltered. My rent currently is at $13.50. If I were to pay it alone by myself, which honestly enough, now that I'm debt free, I can manage that just fine. And it's crazy to think that, because when I first started my journey, Lord, I was struggling to even put $900 away, and it was scaring the crap out of me, which is what started my debt-free journey, like me not being able to sustain myself like independently from my family. And that's what really just threw me into this debt-free journey. After my rent, what usually is the four walls around us is what keeps the apartment running. Luckily, my apartment takes care of water, so a water bill kind of situation won't be on here. It's already included in the rent. The other things that will be included would be electricity. This is usually not in my budget because Bae does take care of this, but since I said I'm doing this like as a single income individual, I will include that. The electricity kind of is weird. It runs from like $60 to $100, just depending on the weather or if we're at home at all times. So I'm gonna go ahead and average it out to be $100. So that is what I'm gonna put it as. You can always have these numbers rounded off if you go back a whole year behind and just look through your bills and average them out. I'm gonna go ahead and just say 100. Usually it sticks around 60. Very rarely does it go to 100. It's usually during the summer months, and then during the winter it's almost like $55. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it at 100 just so I can be good. After that, electricity, we have the natural gas bill, and that is something you guys always see me pay. Based on this apartment, it's always between $23, $25. So I am gonna go ahead and leave it at 25. It's a number I'm usually comfortable with. After that, we got our heat, we got our electricity. The next thing I think about is internet, and this is totally optional, but to me internet is essential, especially like let's say you lose your job. You're gonna have to look up new jobs and you need your internet, you need your phone, you need all that good stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and put internet here. Now internet is kind of insane sometimes. Sometimes you can be on a promotional for like $45, $65. Mine is at 80, so I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it at 80 just because who knows when I will be in this scenario, but I'm sure I'm going to be paying the internet regardless. After that, I think of my cell phone, so I'm going to put phone bill here. And this one has never changed, so I'm going to leave that at 57. And then after that, I just start thinking about everything that I need within my home, which is food. So I'm going to go ahead and put groceries. As you guys saw, I have an average about $380 a month for groceries. That is for 2 people. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Who knows, I might, you know, need something else, something different when a situation like this can pop up. But for now, since that is what my monthly expenses are or happen for the past, what, 2-3 years, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at 380. And then I start thinking about everything else, which is like, let's say I need to go to a job interview or I need to go to the grocery stores or doctor's appointments. I then start thinking about my car. So the first thing is gasoline. Now gasoline, I'm going to put it in a more realistic way. Right now you guys see that my gas bill, like my gasoline, I always pump about like $30 to $40. However, if I were like a full-time employee or I'm actually traveling a lot, that would be around $140. So I would leave it at 140 for sure, just because that is the number I was used to when I was going back and forth. And then I never know if you need to go out in interviews or anything that can come down when you're in this kind of scenario. I would leave that much still in there for transportation. Doesn't mean I would have to use it all up, but it's there to be an accommodation, which then brings me to my car and all the insurances that I have. So for sure, even though if you're falling on hard times, those bills will still come around. So I know car insurance will still come around, and renter's insurance, since I will still be keeping all of my assets, you know, secured. So I know for sure I'm used to paying $132 for car insurance, and I'm used to paying about $25 for renter's insurance. So those are just like the basic numbers I've averaged out between the years that I've been budgeting, and I think that's about it. However, I do want to go ahead and point out that I will be including a spending budget here, and although this is supposed to be for like emergencies, like crucial stuff, like, you know, you're down on your luck, I have known that even during this panorama, that even though I've been home 24/7, like, you know, on disability and all that stuff, workers' comp. That has not removed my, how do you say it, my need or my anxious tendencies to pull in or like pull out to spend money. And that's something that you really need to come to terms with, that even though, you know, sometimes people fall into hard terms, you don't know how you will mentally react. Some people find a tendency that if they buy something, it'll make them feel better, even though, you know, it's just an emotional thing, some type of tendency to, you know, ease the anxiety away. So I know I'm that kind of person where if I feel like the walls are coming in, I need to get out and do something. So for me, a spending line, like, category is a must for me, and for that I will leave it, as I always do, at $250, because this is what my months of expenses always consist of, and I will not derive from that. Of course, you guys can do whatever you guys want with your own budgets. Yours doesn't have to be like mine, but I'm just showing you guys what I will be including. And that is everything that would be my basic expenses for an emergency situation where income dries up, I lose a job, or, you know, something just goes off. That is what this will be. The only thing that I have not put on here is health benefits, because let's say I lose a job, I lose my health benefits, and I don't know if I would turn into like government assistance, or I would turn into like some type of health market, which would bring my health insurance a lot down, especially since I am on Kaiser's program. Kaiser's really expensive, but that I won't include on here, because let's say I might just end up using my spending category to cover such things, that kind of scenario. So yeah, that is how I'm gonna leave it as is. So I'm gonna go ahead and close that up, and we're gonna add it up just real quick. I'm gonna make some lines. So yeah, this is what a month's of expenses looks like for me as a single individual on a single income. Now, after reading Dave's book, where he says an emergency fund is not based on a month's worth of income, that is because sometimes he includes couples, and couples bring in twice what one individual will bring. So I understand that aspect where, you know, you don't have to put your entire worth of income into an emergency fund. But since I was zero-based budgeting forever, and my income usually is my worth, like month's budget, mine is kind of that. But let's say if you have, you know, a partner, a husband, a wife, then I understand the aspect that he's talking about. But this is what my months of expenses look like to be fulfilled as an emergency fund. So I'm gonna go ahead and add all this up. So $13.50, it's 100. So it looks like about $25.39. That is roughly the same or a little bit higher of what I bring just on disability or workers' comp, however you want to call it. So like I said, it is basically like a month's worth of income for me. So let's times that by 3. So for 3 months, I need $7,617. 6 months, I would need $15,234. And then for a year's worth, even though I'm not planning to have this much in an emergency fund, it would be 30 grand. So that is how much I would actually need as a 3 months emergency fund. Currently at the moment, after paying my mom's card and paying off my entire debt, my balance has been brought down to $4,772.76, meaning in order for me to reach at least 3 months, I'm a little off by $2,800. So that is how much I need to go ahead and save up to reach 3 months. And if I needed to reach 6 months, I actually zoom you guys out a bit, about $10,500 to reach my 6 months goal. So that is exactly what I will be working on the next couple of months. That is exactly what I will be putting all my efforts. I will be treating it like a debt snowball where I'm just piling and piling money as much as I can, and hopefully I can reach that quicker than I can anticipate, because I will be planning on using, like I said, most of all of my streams of income, and hopefully that will speed up the process fairly quickly. However, I never know how months will go, so maybe some months I will only use my personal income. Sometimes I will only put money from my online business. Who knows how it'll go, but this is how my emergency fund is set up. I'm so happy that I now have all of my 2021 set up finally up. I got my 2021 budget, I got my 2021 sinking funds, and my emergency fund. So that is exactly what I will be working on for these couple of months. Hopefully by the end of this year I would have all of these set up. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions. I will link down his book down below in case you're interested in it. I feel like I really enjoyed that book and its explanation. And yeah, crazy how right here this category for miscellaneous for debt payoff is gone. I don't need to deal with that anymore. 2020 sinking funds have been fully funded except for Christmas. However, I do have to rebump my medical fund since I depleted it already due to my dental work. But I am so happy how 2021 has gone so far in 6 months. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye, you guys.